2001 A Space Odyssey is one of the most revered science fiction films ever made. Few people know, however, that it is also the title of a book. And this raises questions. How do the film and the book relate to each other? Which one offers the best way into the story? Let's go and find out. In 1964, legendary filmmaker Stanley Kubrick approached the equally famous sci-fi writer Arthur C. Clarke to make the proverbial good science fiction film. They agreed that together they would write the story, which Kubrick would then turn into a film and Clarke would turn into a book, and both would be released at the same time. Written in the mid-1960s, the Space Odyssey tells about 2001, then a distant future, when Americans have colonized the moon and on that moon find a beacon. The beacon sends out a pulse in the direction of Jupiter. Americans are swift to build a spaceship and follow that pulse. But on their voyage in that direction, the board computer, HAL, goes haywire, kills the entire crew save one man, David Bowman, who then shuts down HAL and is the first one to enter the stargate and make first contact with an alien species. Although the story is rather simple, it provided the basic material for Kubrick to make a sensational movie. He used a special kind of lens. He built an enormous front screen projection studio. He pushed his staff to make lifelike ape costumes and to develop all sorts of gadgets which the crew would then use in the film. And finally, he pushed his special effects department to make a stunning scene of Bowman traveling through the Stargate. Kubrick's film is visually stunning. What Kubrick does is he uses a show, don't tell approach. What we get here is not a straightforward story, but a spectacle, a meditation on the vastness of the cosmos. However, such a magical but ultimately mysterious film did not sit well with all the audiences. So during the first showing, Stanley Kubrick was in the room counting half of the audience leaving during intermission.
But it's obviously hit a lot of nerves. And it was slow to start. You know, when it came out originally, the first week, a lot of people thought it was a disaster.
And when one of the members of the audience left the room at the end of the film and walked into a row of journalists, he asked, "Can somebody tell me what the hell I just watched?" So, to understand the film, many have turned to Clarke's book, and Clarke indeed provides all the answers.
I answer some of the questions in the new movie, but there's still quite a few left.
For an example, Clarke explains that HAL goes insane when he is given two different kinds of directions. On the one hand, he is supposed to lie to a crew that on the other hand, he is supposed to serve. HAL cannot handle that, becomes paranoid and ultimately murderous.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
Clarke also explains the extraterrestrials, and he describes them as initially a species made of flesh and bone, which then created space vessels, which then uploaded their consciousness into these vessels and over the course of millennia developed into immaterial space ghosts, roaming the galaxy in search for knowledge, but ultimately becoming bored and then deciding to make contact with lesser species such as the humans. And Clarke was a typical 1950s hard sci-fi author. What is central here is not humans, not human relations or dynamics, but logics, technology and explanation. And here something interesting happens. Kubrick's film may be magical, albeit a bit incomprehensible, but Clarke's book, because it is so comprehensible, is devoid of magic. The magic becomes mundane as everything is explained. Kubrick saw 2001 as a one-off, and when the filming was done, he had the whole studio and all the attributes destroyed. Kubrick did not want 2001 to turn into a franchise, and that did not happen. But not for lack of trying. Clarke wrote not one, not two, but 3 sequels to 2001, and one of them was even turned into a film, and there were various comic books made. But when people think of 2001, they think of one film and one film only. In that sense, we know what the answer is to the question, what is the best way into the story? There's one seminal film and one forgettable book. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and ring the bell, and let me know in the comments section what you think is the better version, the film or the book.